How many of you have ever wondered why certain people around you, people you love, people you trust, people who call themselves your family or your friends, suddenly shift from being a source of comfort to a source of chaos? How many of you have been betrayed, not by strangers on the street, but by those sitting at the same table, eating the same food, living under the same roof? Listen carefully. Not every smile is innocent, not every embrace is safe, and not every word of encouragement is pure. There are times when behind familiar faces, dark spirits hide. There are times when what you are facing is not simply human weakness, but a demon operating through the people closest to you. And if you cannot see it, if you cannot discern it, you will walk blind into traps that were set in the very circle you thought was protecting you. This is not something to take lightly. This is a reality we must confront with open eyes and a heart anchored firmly in God. God gave us relationships as blessings, but the enemy tries to twist blessings into weapons. Think about it. Where did the first betrayal in history happen? Not between strangers, but between brothers. The story of humanity itself began with betrayal in a family. Why? Because the enemy knows that strangers cannot destroy you as effectively as those who carry your trust, those whose words sink deep into your soul. And that is why you must learn how to discern, how to see past the mask, how to identify when a friend or family member is no longer acting under their own will, but is being used by forces of darkness. Because let me tell you, these truth demons do not show up with horns and fire. They show up through attitudes, through words, through behaviors that carry the smell of destruction. They show up in the people you least expect, because that is where their power to wound is greatest. So, how do you spot these demons? The first sign is that they consistently pull you away from God. Listen to me carefully, anyone, no matter how close, who diminishes your fire for God, who distracts you from prayer, who plants seeds of doubt in your faith, there is a spirit operating behind them. Demons do not attack your faith head on. They whisper through the people you love. A brother may tell you, you are wasting your time praying. A friend may laugh when you talk about God's goodness. A parent may tell you that seeking God is foolishness compared to chasing worldly security. You must look beyond their words and see the spirit behind it. God's truth will always draw you closer to Him, while demonic influence will always push you further away. The question is, are you discerning enough to see it? Another sign is manipulation and control. Demons thrive on domination. They love to make you feel small, trapped, unable to move forward. And sometimes that spirit wears the face of a family member who constantly criticizes you, who mocks your dreams, who suffocates your confidence. Sometimes it shows up in a friend who pretends to care, but always wants to pull you back into old habits, old sins, old chains. They smile while they sabotage. They speak sweet words while they set snares. You must open your eyes. God calls you to freedom, but demons in friends and family will always attempt to chain you with fear, guilt, and manipulation. They will make you feel like you owe them your silence, like you owe them your obedience, even when they are steering you away from God's purpose. You do not owe obedience to a spirit of darkness. operating through anyone. No matter who they are, your only allegiance belongs to God. And then there is the poison of envy. Listen to me, because this is one of the most subtle and dangerous signs. Demons stir jealousy in the hearts of those closest to you. You see, a stranger's jealousy cannot reach you, but a sibling's jealousy can kill you inside. A cousin's envy can destroy the peace in your home. A friend's bitterness can crush your confidence. Envy is not just a feeling, it is a doorway. When people in your circle cannot rejoice in your blessings, when they downplay your victories, when they always compete instead of celebrating, there is a spirit behind it. Demons cannot stand the sight of God's favor resting on your life, so they use the weak hearts of others to try and dim your light. You must never ignore envy. You must never dismiss it as just personality differences. It is more serious than that. It is a weapon forged in the spirit to steal, kill, and destroy. Another clear sign is division and strife. Demons thrive in conflict. They love to turn brother against brother, sister against sister, friend against friend. They plant seeds of misunderstanding. They twist words. They magnify small issues until relationships shatter under the weight of unnecessary battles. If you are constantly surrounded by confusion, constant arguments, endless quarrels within your home or your circle of friends, recognize that this is not simply bad communication. It is spiritual warfare. God is a God of peace. Demons, on the other hand, feed on division because division weakens you. A divided home cannot stand. A divided friendship cannot carry destiny. A divided family cannot fulfill the purpose God intended. So ask yourself, who always brings strife into the room? Who always carries confusion? Who always carries peace into war? That is where a demonic presence is hiding. But perhaps the most dangerous sign of all is hidden hatred disguised as love. There are friends who smile at you, but secretly resent you. There are family members who clap for you in public, but curse you in private. Their words sound sweet, but their actions are toxic. Demons are masters of disguise. They know how to wrap poison in pretty packaging. That is why discernment is not about listening to words, but watching fruits. God teaches us that you will know them by their fruits. So ask, what fruit does this person consistently bear in your life? Do they inspire peace, faith, and growth? Or do they leave you anxious, doubting, and stagnant? Do they water your spirit, or do they drain it? A demon cannot hide forever. Eventually, their fruits will reveal their true master. Now hear me clearly. Spotting demons in friends and family does not mean hating them. It does not mean fighting them in the flesh. Because remember, the person is not the enemy. The spirit using them is. Your battle is not against blood and flesh, but against powers and principalities of darkness. So you must fight the right way. You do not fight with anger, you fight with prayer. You do not fight with bitterness, you fight with discernment. You do not fight by cutting everyone off recklessly. You fight by aligning your spirit with God so strongly that no demon, no matter through whom it comes, can manipulate or destroy you. There will be times when you must walk away from toxic relationships, and there will be times when you must stand firm and refuse to be shaken. There will be moments when you must set boundaries so that demonic influence cannot penetrate your space. And there will be moments when you must simply remain silent, because silence itself is a weapon that confuses the enemy. You must learn to respond not according to emotions, but according to wisdom from God. The greatest mistake you can make is to assume that because someone is close, they cannot be used. The truth is, the closer they are, the more vulnerable they are to being used. That is why you must stay rooted in God at all times. Let me tell you, these demons fear discernment. They do not mind if you go to gatherings. They do not mind if you sing songs. They do not mind if you talk about God casually. What terrifies them is when you open your spiritual eyes and recognize their operations in your own circle. That is when their power breaks. That is when their schemes collapse. That is when they flee. So do not be naive. Do not live blind. Ask God daily to sharpen your discernment, to give you wisdom that pierces through the mask, to show you who is truly for you and who is against you. When God is with you, no demonic plan through friends or family can succeed. But when you ignore the signs, when you live blind, you allow yourself to become a victim. Do not be a victim. Be vigilant. Guard your spirit. Keep your faith unshakable. And above all, keep your relationship with God unbreakable, because that is your shield, your anchor, and your defense against every demon hiding behind familiar faces. Let me take you deeper into this truth, because what I am telling you is not simply about recognizing bad behavior or pointing fingers at difficult personalities. No, it is about understanding how the enemy works through relationships to poison your destiny. You see, demons do not always attack head on. They rarely knock at the front door announcing their arrival. Instead, they slip in quietly through the back door of familiarity, cloaked in trust and affection. They will use the voice you grew up listening to, the friend who knows your secrets, the relative whose opinion carries weight in your heart. That is why it is so dangerous to assume that closeness means safety. God calls us to love people, yes, but He also calls us to discern spirits. Because love without discernment is blindness, and blindness will make you embrace what is trying to destroy you. Now let me tell you something profound. Demons are attracted to weakness. Just as flies swarm around open wounds, so too do spirits of darkness circle around the unhealed areas of people's hearts. A family member who never dealt with bitterness becomes a channel for a spirit of resentment. A friend who never overcame insecurity becomes the perfect doorway for jealousy. A relative who never learned to control their anger becomes an instrument of wrath. And if you do not recognize this, you will think you are fighting with them, when in reality, you are fighting with the spirit that feeds on their weakness. This is why God calls us to guard our hearts and to pray without ceasing. Because the moment you stop guarding your heart, you too can become a doorway to not only watch others, watch yourself. Because if you let envy grow in your spirit, if you let anger remain unconfessed, if you allow bitterness to sit, then you too can unknowingly become a channel for darkness against those you love. There is another dimension you must understand. Demons will always seek to isolate you from the right voices. Pay attention to this. when you are on the verge of breakthrough, when God is about to lift you higher, you will suddenly notice certain friends or family turning you away from wise counsel. They will mock the guidance that comes from God. They will discourage your pursuit of truth. They will make you feel that your commitment to God is unnecessary, extreme, or even foolish. They may not say it directly, but their subtle comments will work like slow poison to cut you off from the source of your strength. This is not accidental. This is intentional in the spirit. Because demons know that as long as you are surrounded by those who remind you of God, you remain strong. So their strategy is to silence those voices, leaving you vulnerable and weak. Ask yourself, who is trying to pull me away from God's truth? Who is silencing my prayer life? Who is laughing at my discipline? Because behind their laughter, behind their dismissal, there is a spirit of sabotage. Let me show you another angle. Demons reveal themselves through patterns. Pay attention to patterns in your relationships. Does a particular person always show up with confusion when you are finally finding peace? Does someone always call you into gossip the moment you decide to live in purity? Does strife always follow after certain visits or conversations? These are not coincidences. They are spiritual fingerprints. Demons operate in cycles, repeating the same destruction again and again, until you break the chain through discernment and prayer. God never designed your relationships to leave you drained, anxious, or broken. So when that becomes the consistent pattern, it is no longer just human weakness. It is demonic activity working to derail you. Recognizing the pattern is the first step in breaking it. And hear this truth with all seriousness: demons love masks. They love to hide behind masks of kindness, masks of humor, masks of generosity. Someone can give you gifts, but secretly curse you in their heart. Someone can laugh with you, but secretly mock your dreams. Someone can sit at your table, but secretly plot your downfall. Do not be deceived by appearances. God Himself looks not at the outward, but at the heart. And so must you. You must learn to ask God to reveal what is hidden behind the mask. Because many relationships that look innocent on the surface are actually spiritual traps. Many people who appear supportive are secretly assigned to derail your purpose. And if you cannot see through the mask, you will welcome the very agent of your destruction into the most sacred spaces of your life. But I must warn you, when you begin to discern, you will face resistance. People will call you paranoid. They will say you are too harsh. They will say, but that is your friend, your brother, your sister. How can you think such things? Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Because you are not guided by public opinion. You are guided by the Spirit of God. Discernment often makes you stand alone. It often makes you look suspicious to those who are spiritually blind. But it is better to be misunderstood for protecting your spirit than to be destroyed because you ignored the warning signs. Remember, it was not the stranger who betrayed the prophet, but the familiar one who dipped his hand in the same dish. The closer the circle, the sharper the betrayal. And only those who walk closely with God will see it before it strikes. Another truth I must share: demons often cloak themselves in emotions. They will use guilt to chain you. They will use pity to manipulate you. They will use anger to intimidate you. They will use flattery to disarm you. But remember this: God is not the author of manipulation. God does not control you through fear, nor does He entrap you with guilt. So when a relationship thrives on emotional games that leave you enslaved rather than free, that is not from God. That is a demon in disguise. The enemy knows your heart. He knows you care. He knows you love. And so he twists those emotions into chains. But God never blesses relationships that are founded on control. God blesses those that are built on truth, freedom, and mutual respect. You must have the courage to say no when guilt tries to manipulate, when anger tries to silence, when flattery tries to deceive. That courage is not rebellion, it is protection. Now let us consider the role of words. Demons often expose themselves through the words spoken by those closest to you. Words that constantly tear you down, words that sow doubt, words that plant fear, words that normalize sin. These are not just casual comments. They are arrows dipped in poison. Words carry power. God created the universe with words. Demons too seek to create destruction with words. That is why you must not treat words lightly. Listen carefully to what is being spoken over your life. When a friend repeatedly calls you worthless, that is not a joke. It is a curse in disguise. When a family member constantly tells you that you will never succeed, that is not just an opinion. It is an attack. Do not accept those words into your spirit. Cancel them with the authority God gave you. Speak life where death was spoken. Speak blessing where curse was planted. Because demons know that if they can get you to believe the words spoken against you, they do not even need to fight. You will destroy yourself with your own agreement. But here is the greatest truth of all: no matter how many demons hide in friends or family, they cannot overpower the one whose heart is anchored in God. You may be surrounded by envy, but God's protection is stronger than jealousy. You may be betrayed by those closest, but God's plan cannot be stopped by betrayal. You may be mocked, manipulated, even hated, but as long as you cling to God, you remain untouchable in the spirit. The enemy's greatest fear is not that demons surround you. The enemy's greatest fear is that you awaken to the presence of God surrounding you. Because once you know that God is your shield, once you stand firm in His truth, no hidden agenda, no whispered curse, no secret hatred can prosper against you. And so I tell you with boldness, open your eyes, guard your heart, walk in discernment. Do not live naive. Do not lie blind. Ask God daily to sharpen your spirit, to expose what is hidden, to protect you from what you cannot yet see. Because when you learn to spot demons in friends and family, you take back the power they tried to steal. You reclaim your peace. You reclaim your destiny. And you walk not in fear, but in unshakable confidence that God is with you. God is guiding you. And God will never allow the darkness to consume you. Let me take you even deeper, because what I am speaking about is not a surface matter. It cuts to the very root of your destiny and your survival in this world. You see, the most dangerous attacks you will ever face will not come from distant enemies, but from those who walk closest to you. The stranger has no access to your secrets, no access to your trust, no access to your heart. But the friend, the family member, the familiar voice, they know your vulnerabilities. And that is why the enemy uses them. Demons are strategic. They do not waste time attacking where there is no access. They move through the channels where the doors of trust are already wide open. This is why you must ask God every day for eyes to see beyond the surface, for wisdom that cuts through the layers of pretense, and for strength to stand even when it hurts to confront the truth. Do not be deceived into thinking that just because someone shares your bloodline, they automatically share your purpose. Some of you are bound by the illusion that loyalty to family means tolerating toxic spirits, that love for friends means ignoring their destructive influence. Let me tell you the truth. Loyalty to people should never be greater than loyalty to God. God comes first. If you compromise your faith to keep someone comfortable, you have already surrendered to the wrong master. Demons thrive in that compromise. They whisper, don't confront this behavior, you might lose them. Don't resist this influence, you might hurt them. But God says, choose this day whom you will serve. You cannot serve both God and the spirits that oppose Him. You must decide with boldness that your loyalty to God outweighs every emotional tie, every familiar bond, every sentimental attachment. Now, listen carefully. One of the most cunning disguises of demons in friends and family is false support. They will cheer for you when you pursue what is small, but the moment you step into what God truly called you to, their cheers turn into silence, and their silence turns into criticism. Have you noticed how some friends only celebrate you as long as you remain beneath them? Have you noticed how some relatives only clap for you when your success does not outshine theirs? This is not ordinary jealousy. This is a spirit of opposition. Demons cannot stand to see you step into the fullness of what God designed you to be. They will try to suppress you with subtle comments, with discouraging questions, with constant reminders of your past failures. Do you really think you can achieve this? Don't you remember when you failed last time? These are not innocent remarks. They are strategic attempts to bind you with fear and insecurity. Recognize them. Confront them. Do not allow yourself to be silenced by voices that were never aligned with God's vision for your life. And there is another sign. When people around you consistently draw you back into darkness. Maybe you've been delivered from certain addictions, certain patterns, certain destructive cycles. But notice how those same cycles seem to re-enter your life through people you love. A cousin invites you back into habits you walked away from. A friend insists you loosen up and join them in things you know God already freed you from. They disguise it as fun, as bonding, as harmless pleasure, but in reality, it is a calculated attempt by the enemy to drag you back into bondage. Demons are never creative. They recycle old chains. And they often send them back into your life through familiar hands. Ask yourself, who in my life consistently leads me backward, not forward? Who speaks more about my past than my future? Who resists my growth and calls it love? The answer to these questions will reveal where demonic influence hides. Do not underestimate the power of atmosphere. Demons in friends and family often reveal themselves not just in words, but in the atmosphere they carry. Have you ever noticed that some people leave you heavy every time you meet them? You feel drained, discouraged, anxious, and confused. That is not just personality, it is spiritual atmosphere. There are people who carry peace because they are aligned with God, and there are people who carry darkness because they are hosting destructive spirits. Pay attention to how you feel after being around someone. If their presence consistently robs you of joy, steals your focus, and clouds your spirit, you must recognize what you are dealing with. God's presence always brings clarity, always brings peace, always uplifts. If someone consistently leaves you with the opposite, it is not of God, and you must not ignore it. But let me show you a higher truth. God sometimes allows you to encounter demons in friends and family, not to destroy you, but to train you. How else will you learn discernment if you are never tested by deception? How else will you learn strength if you are never resisted? God does not always remove the enemy immediately. Sometimes He lets the enemy sit close enough for you to sharpen your vision, to strengthen your faith, and to learn how to stand without wavering. You may be asking God, why did you put me in a family that does not support me? Why did you surround me with friends who betray me? The answer is this: so that you would learn to lean fully on Him, so that you would not build your faith on human loyalty, but on divine power. God will use even the resistance of demons to fortify you for your destiny. And here is the key: you cannot spot demons in others if you have not conquered the demons within yourself. Too many people are quick to point finger as outward, but slow to examine inward. You must first confront the envy, the anger, the bitterness, the pride in your own heart. Because the moment you let those demons live inside you, you will not see them clearly in others. Purity gives clarity. The cleaner your heart, the sharper your discernment. This is why prayer is not optional, it is survival. Prayer cleanses your heart, strengthens your spirit, and makes your eyes clear. Without prayer, you will be blind to the enemy's disguises. With prayer, you will see through masks, through words, through atmospheres, and you will know exactly where the enemy is hiding. And let me remind you of this: no matter how close the betrayal, no matter how painful the opposition, God will never abandon you. When demons in friends and family rise against you, it is only because they sense the greatness of what God has placed in you. You do not become a target unless you are carrying something valuable. The enemy is not after you because of who you are today, but because of who you are becoming. So instead of collapsing under the weight of betrayal, lift your head high and declare, if God is for me, no spirit against me can prosper. If God has chosen me, no demon hiding in my circle can derail me. If God is my shield, no attack from within or without can destroy me. Stand tall in this truth. Walk boldly in this truth. And never forget, your destiny is stronger than their schemes. Because your destiny is written by the hand of God, and no demon, whether in friend, in family, or in stranger, can erase what God has already decreed. My beloved, you must never forget this truth. The greatest battles you will ever fight will not always come from distant lands, nor from faceless enemies, but from within the very circles you thought were safe. But hear me now. The presence of demons in friends and family does not mean defeat for you. On the contrary, it is proof that you are carrying something precious, something so powerful that the enemy fears it. That is why the attack comes from close range. That is why the opposition comes dressed as love. That is why betrayal comes from familiar voices. But in all of this, God remains your shield, your light, and your strong tower. If you cling to Him, no betrayal can break you, no jealousy can poison you, no curse can stick to you. So do not walk in fear, walk in discernment. Do not bow to manipulation, stand in faith. Do not allow envy, strife, and hidden hatred to silence you. Rise above it, knowing that your destiny was written by God long before any demon conspired against you. The weapons may form, but they will not prosper. The whispers may rise, but they will not define you. The betrayal may wound, but it will not destroy you. Because the God who called you, the God who formed you, the God who sustains you, He is greater than every force that opposes you. Now I challenge you, open your eyes and ask yourself, who in my life carries me closer to God and who in my life pulls me away? Have the courage to face that question honestly. Have the strength to act on the truth God reveals. Do not compromise your future for the comfort of the present. Do not trade your destiny for the illusion of peace. If God is truly your foundation, then no demon hiding in a smile, no spirit cloaked in friendship, no darkness dwelling in family ties will ever succeed against you. Stand boldly in the light of God. Guard your spirit with vigilance. Live with wisdom, not naivety. And above all, anchor your heart so deeply in God that no storm of betrayal, no flood of envy, no fire of conflict can move you. Because when you are rooted in God, you are unshakable. When you are guided by God, you are unstoppable. And when you belong wholly to God, you are untouchable by every force of darkness. This is your moment. Choose to walk with eyes open, heart guarded, and spirit unyielding. And as you do, may your life become a testimony that no matter where demons try to hide, the light of God in you will always expose them, defeat them, and carry you to the destiny that no power on earth or in hell can steal. Stand tall, stand strong, and never forget. You are protected, you are chosen, and you are victorious because God is with you.